Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Glad you could make it. Got a good group here so far. Usually we'll have, a couple of stragglers wander in, after we get started. That's okay. Hope you're doing well. I'm having a great day so far. Kind of glad that the work part day of it is over and I get to get on with, the fun of just hanging out with my friends in cyberspace. Nice. So yeah, hey, no guest speaker tonight, but I was just thinking, just asking the question, is there a new product or service that you have recently started to offer that's kind of new to you, that you want to talk about? Or is there a service or product that you have recently stopped offering for some reason?
We are going to start offering, we're going to try it, out of the box sliding kits, barn door and regular types, just to see how it goes. We have a supplier very near to our shop, and the price point could save customers a dramatic amount of money, and it could result in probably slightly better margins too. So we're going to try it, see what happens.
You're experimenting.
Yes.
So you're talking
What
about,
is it again? Sorry.
We just stock doors, but the kit, like what you buy at Home Depot, except not from Home Depot, imported stock barn door sliders and that sort of thing. We're going to just try it out because, it's a substantial difference.
now, is there a certain product line or manufacturer that you have in mind?
Well, I don't know where these are actually coming from. There's a company down in Florida that has a distributorship in the Atlanta area, close to where we are. And they sell hinges, handles, stock, like regular doors, swing doors. They have all kinds of sliding systems. They have about 5 different sliding systems. They're phasing several out, so they're going to only have probably about maybe 4 or 5 total different sliding door options. There'll be like the Cambridge style, the Serenity style, and then your typical semi-frameless that you would get from like a Alimax for us or a Coastal, that sort of thing, so they've got their versions of that, and they're a lot less. They keep bringing in containers of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try them out, see what happens. But you asked a question.
Yeah. I just had a feeling my spidey senses were telling me something was going on out there. So what company are you talking about?
Well, it's a company called SoFlu, which I don't think anybody would recognize. They're not big, and that actually stands for South Florida.
Okay.
And they do have another name as well down in the Florida area. I haven't been necessarily impressed with all their hinges and handles and stuff, so I haven't bought those. But these kit doors look pretty decent, so we'll try them out. They're barn door sliders, so that's what people want. They're just real limited on sizes. They've got the main finishes, and that's okay. It gives another option for customers trying to get by with less, less outflow of money or funds. And, right now everything's real expensive. So
It sure is. That's what my customers tell me all the time.
well, you're in California where almost everybody's rich.
It's true. Almost everybody.
Until they pay their taxes.
Cool.
Have you been to Oakland? Have you been to Oakland?
No, not me, no.
You go see that. It's nasty.
All I know is there's lots of Californians moving out here and spending lots of money.
Nice. That's where all the money went.
Get 'em. Just
Get
don't
'em.
California my Tennessee.
That's right. Yeah, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of new products, I've got a question. I've got a potential. I've been talking to a guy about selling a heated towel bar that he has. He sells it online. Do you get any of you guys sell heated towel bars?
Seen one. They were nice.
Yeah, they're nice. You need an electrician, don't you, to install those?
I put my face on it one time. It felt good.
Oh, bad.
If it, I don't know if it plugs into the wall or if you have to wire it up. I haven't figured that out yet, but
I'm sure there's always the option of plugging it in. I mean, you could always, wire it with a plug and just plug it in, and you wouldn't need any.
Right.
But the most ones that I see are, they are hardwired.
Yeah.
And the thing about those that's really cool is that they say it'll keep your whole bathroom warm.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah. They put off a lot of heat. That's a killer idea. They're really popular.
The one I seen that was hardwired. It had a timer on it. So
Yeah.
So I was able to put the timer on it. The towel I was using to clean the glass, I was able to dry it on it too. Customer goes, "Hey, try it out." I'm like, "All right." So we turned it on. I put it on the towel warmer, and yeah, it dried up my towel for me.
Nice.
They're pretty
So
nice.
where are you at in that process? Have you actually
I've not actually seen it yet.
investigating?
Yeah, it's just I talked to him briefly. Actually, about a month ago. He hasn't got back to me yet. I need to hit him up again. I've been too busy to mess with it, but it's time for me to check it out and see what the deal is.
Well, people who work with home builders, probably some of the guys who are on this call might be doing closet shelving and that sort of thing. I want to avoid that like the plague, but if you're trying to get the home builder having more turnkey product is a good thing to do.
Right.
Let me ask, I mean, is anybody doing anything like closet shelving or door hardware or any other totally different product line?
Yeah, we do, Brad. We've done that for probably the last 16 years. What started out with a call to ask if this is when I first bought my business. They asked if we would do mirrors. That's what led me into doing shower doors. And it was the really basic shower doors, just sliders and a frame door and inline panel. But that led into heavy glass doors, which led into more custom higher end closet systems. And we do the hardware too. There's pluses and minuses to that. Dealing with production home builders can be a big suck of time and time wasted because they schedule you for installs and some things are ready and some are not. They don't want to pay for the extras. There's just a lot of frustrations and headaches. I know Bill Dodman has talked about that. He did that years ago and phased out of it. I still do. I do a little mini P&L for every house that we do and try to account for all the costs, and labor and even second trips. And in doing that, I have continued to keep some builders and I've phased others out because, obviously you're going to make money. I'm not going to trade dollars. But that start and what it's done is I've been more selective. Now, instead of doing production home builders, the track builders, I have one of those clients left. That's led me into more of the custom home builders, the guys building these big, beautiful custom homes and let me come in and do 3, 4, 5, even 6 showers in a house and higher end shelving, more involved mirror work. Oftentimes those homes have workout rooms down in the, some part of the house. So we're doing walls of mirrors and things like that. So yeah, we have done that and continue to do that.
Yeah, I don't really want to do a lot more product, but I want to make sure my guys are busy, and I think it'd be nice to be diversified a little bit. Have different type of customers.
Diversification brings pluses and minuses, in my opinion. The pluses, you can stay busy, but instead of being able to hone your skill, so to speak, and say heavy glass showers and perfect that and everybody on the same page, one day we're putting windows in, one day we're putting showers in, one day we're putting commercial storefront in, and you're a jack of all trades. And that leads to its own frustrations. Cross training can be challenging. Some guys have different skill sets than others, and I'm not in a really highly populated area. It's let me survive for 19 years, being diversified. If I just took the position that I was only going to do heavy glass showers and mirrors, for instance, I don't know that we would have survived. But we have that diversification has allowed us to do it, but it brings us challenges. I'm not going to lie. There's frustrations and that come along with that.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one thing I tried doing was, I think I had pretty good results, is just starting to carry grab bars. You're already in the shower, you got your drill. It's like, hey, would you like a grab bar? So if you've got some, just got some, on the truck, man, you can charge what? $100, $200, install a grab bar, get a grab bar, you can get them pretty affordably priced, if you shop around. So that's something that's like, you don't really have to retool or retrain or anything else. You're already there. It's just like an opportunity to do some extra work.
That's interesting, Chris, because the house I was in today was a pretty high-end house, two showers, and he looked at me as I was measuring his master enclosure. He said, "You wouldn't have to do grab bars, would you?" I don't, but to your point, yeah, if I had one in the truck, we could have probably had a sale.
Yeah.
We've installed them, Chris, from time to time, but I get nervous because I don't want to hit a water pipe.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And I worry about that. So, if somebody can show me a picture of their shower while it was being tiled, so I could see where the plumbing is and where everything is, then I'm willing to do grab bars. But you certainly, you have that liability. If you hit something, now you got a bigger bill, because now you got tile to fix and the plumbing and all for a grab bar. I've got a few stories about that kind of thing. I'm not going to belabor it, but so the other thing is, you want to make sure you get into wood primarily. Now there are certain anchors. I think was it Zip It is one of the brands, but there's some that'll hold hundreds of pounds. You certainly don't want something to come off either. That could be somewhat of a liability, yet probably not likely to happen.
Yeah.
But just throw that out. I think the most likely thing is you hit a water pipe.
That's probably the most likely tragic thing that's going to happen if something bad happens.
I've had that happen, but I am absolutely adamant anymore. We've done hotel jobs, where they ask you to put the shower doors, the mirrors, and all the hardware in. But and my production home builders, same thing. I am absolutely adamant, and I write it into every contract. I am not responsible for hitting a water pipe. I can't see behind the wall. If it's not documented and laid out where they, if they've put blocking in prior to the tile job or whatever they're installing, I will not accept responsibility for any of that. It's led to some, some pretty interesting conversations at times, but I never back down off of that. I make them initial it. I make them sign it. I sign it and initial it, indicating that we're not responsible for that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Now,
And that's how I kind of handle it too. I just make
You
sure
have
they
to.
know that I'm not responsible, and I really want them to show me pictures and all that. But you know how it goes.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do. Unfortunately.
do any of you guys install like we use out here, we use Century shower door for our box units, our semi-frameless sliders and framed units, and they offer medicine cabinets as well. Have any of you guys ever messed around with medicine cabinets or like some of those LED mirrors with the border, the backlit border?
Good question.
I did years ago, Brian, but what happened was on the mirror side, when those things gained in popularity, people were just going on Amazon and places and finding them, which then I just chose not to play in that because my price point wasn't competitive. After when I bought it, had to pay for shipping. I think we were getting them out of Canada at the time. That's probably been 10 or 12 years ago. On the medicine cabinet side, we do a real cheap medicine cabinet for a production home builder up there. And again, you have to evaluate. I know you all do that, but I evaluate what I pay for everything, what it takes labor wise. And I get these things for like $18 and I charge them $95 and it's, to install it, and it's part of a whole package. So you're actually,
Wow. That's
you're actually
cheap.
making a little bit of money. So.
Okay. Yeah, I had a customer ask about medicine cabinets the other day, and I just took a quick look to kind of, before I answered, I figured, let me check this out a little bit. And I mean, some of the prices on some of these medicine cabinets, the list price was like $1,200-$1,300 for like tri-fold,
I don't play in that market.
Yeah, it seemed, I had no idea. I was somewhat shocked when I saw some of the prices on these. And
Well, there's recessed and there's surface mount.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a recessed surface mount, and then they offered like a hybrid one that wasn't recessed all the way into the wall, but partial.
Yeah, I've never seen those. Yeah. Depends on how much time it takes to mess with them.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about at that point, you're talking about cutting a hole in the wall. You got to build a box and a frame to support this thing. You're not going to just rest it on sheetrock. So now you're getting into some carpentry and
which that's not my gig.
Yeah. I mean,
you
I've
open
done
up
it,
the
but I
wall,
don't.
and now you got electrical in the way, or plumbing, or something could be in the way.
Yeah, and how easy is it going to be to like center it over the sink or something? I mean, it's like
Probably not very.
Right. But I mean, that's another great example of something like where if you're already in the bathroom, you already got the tools. I mean, if it's simple enough to do, if it's like a surface mounted thing, kind of like Mike was talking about, I mean, slam dunk. And just like a little flop up mirror, it's like when I was working by myself, I started shying away from mirrors. That was one of the things I just kind of took off my list. It's like, this isn't, it's not really lucrative enough for me to spend my time doing it. But if I'm already in somebody's bathroom installing a shower door and they need a little, flop up mirror, it's like, that's easy money, because you're there already and it's just, no extra trip. And, you don't have to cut it all out of square or anything like that. So, that can be worthwhile to do. Oh yeah, that's right. So what about products that you don't do anymore? You used to do it. don't do it anymore.
Screens
Yeah.
and screens and storm sashes. Out here, there's a lot of storm sashes, and people would come in and they, in one hand, they'd have 4 singular pieces of sash, and in another hand, they'd have some vinyl, and they'd say, "Can you make me 8 or 10 of these?" And years ago, we would try to do that, and you cannot charge enough to cover your labor and be competitive. So now when they walk in the door with a screen, and I very politely say, "I'm sorry, there's an Ace Hardware across the street." I will not do them anymore. You can't recover your cost.
Yeah, I agree.
No,
I can't. Maybe you all can.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in it. I agree. You can't charge enough.
We do screens all day long. We make
Dude.
them. We make them in house. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
and if you're kind of the old school kind of shop where like you've got a guy in the shop anyway, and he's just getting paid, he's in there. And you can just give them something like that to do, and they get pretty quick at doing them. It could be worthwhile to do.
We got a utility guy that we use. He's a young kid that man, I seen him grow from being a little kid to this adult. And yeah, he one day just wanted a job, taught him how to do screens. He did that for I don't know how many years, and then now he does everything else, a little bit of everything. Broken windows, he does, yeah. So a nice little utility guy to have to do that. And hey, it pays his bill, it pays him well, and it makes us money too. We're not losing nothing.
Mhm.
Just, we make all our screens, we make screen doors, and people like that because we're the one shop that does it. So we get a ton. Like I'm looking at my list right now. I remember that yesterday it was only like 3 or 4 people on there. Now the page is full.
I was just
screen.
thinking, Adrian, I need a screen. I'll hit you up after this.
Yeah, I got screens. I got screens for days. We make everything in the house too. So sunscreens to little bitty screens, we do it.
Nice.
can you have one ready for me by Friday?
Sure.
Piece of cake.
Let me
Piece of
see.
cake.
I'm going north, so I can drive by and get it.
Where are you doing up north? Where are you doing up north? Huh?
Going up to
Meet you
Lake
up.
Almanor.
Oh, that's like, yeah, that's north, but not like north.
Yeah.
North of where you
Yeah.
are.
I'm like Ecuador.
I'm north of where you are.
No, are you?
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm like 45 minutes from north of Sacramento.
Oh, you are? Okay. I know. I was thinking you were down south. That's right.
Now I'm like 2.5 hours from Tahoe and 2.5 hours away from San Francisco.
You're way over there in the middle of no man's land.
Dude, there's a plenty of mans here.
Okay, never mind.
Marysville,
Little Yuba City, it's nice, man. It's quiet. It's quiet,
He's got the U2 spy planes.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them today. They were flying around.
yeah, out there. That my brother was at Beale.
Oh yeah, we do a lot of stuff for Bill. Yeah, we have a contract with them. We do all their housing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nice little gig.
Mhm.
So one thing we don't do no more is auto glass. Who does auto glass still? No, huh?
Crickets.
Oh, yeah, we don't do it. We used to do it for many years. I learned how to do auto glass when I was coming up, and it was great. Insurance paid. It was a great, it was a great to doing at the time. But then you get these guys doing it out of their home, out of the truck, doing it for like $100. There was no way for us to be competitive to that, so we had to drop it and not do it anymore.
That reminds me, I need a windshield.
I don't have my tools anymore.
Do you know where I can get one for $100?
I have a buddy that does them, and I go, "Is that $199 or $199 windshield silver?" I go, "Nope, it's $249 now, or $349 or something like that."
That still
Those days
sounds
are over.
pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't know how to do them. I'd rather not do them because it hurts.
I know.
Yeah, because the windshields, they used to have that NAGS book. You just look up the price and that's what it was.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
Yeah,
You didn't know
well-
what you didn't know what the windshield cost. You just that's what you charged them, and then
Now, Chris and Tim, you guys are old school shop guys, right? You guys used to do everything at one time or no?
Yeah, I used to. Yeah. Full
Yeah.
service.
So you know the auto glass industry, yeah, that thing sucks.
No, I mean everything but auto glass. We never did.
Really?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
never did that.
So my
That's-
dad, when he started the glass business, he started doing auto glass, so that's why we did that too. But and he, then I was taught that, and then doing other stuff too.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much all around. I can do pretty much anything, but I rather not. I think the shop. I'm done.
I can do it. I
Yeah,
won't.
I'm
though.
I got other guys around there. I got different guys can do everything else. I'm like, I love doing shower doors. Shower doors, you're in and out 2.5 hours and two shower doors a day. That's it. I'm done.
Dude, it's clean work. You're indoors. Usually it's
Air
somebody's
conditioning.
nice home, Air
Air
Yeah.
conditioning. And when they don't want to put on the air conditioner, you just offer them $20, turn it on. They're happy to do it. And then nice cool air conditioning.
yeah, back
$20.
when,
$20, they'll turn it on for you. Trust me.
yeah, back when auto glass was off, all the doors were flat glass. My dad had this box and it had patterns in it. And you just look up what you wanted and you roll it to that pattern, you lay the laminate on top of it and cut it.
Wow.
That would-
Dude, that's
Basically-
going back.
I remember doing that.
Yeah.
Doing it with the gasket. Yep. Getting the 2 pencils and drawing out and cutting the laminate. Oh, I remember that. Those
Oh, yeah.
were
Did a lot of
good
that.
times. And I had one of those old timers teaching me too. So man, he was hard on me. He was really hard. And I'm looking at my dad. I go, "You let him do this to me?" Yep. So it was hard. Now the way we have to be with our employees, I'm like, shoot, I would never get away with that. Dude.
Hey, Chris, can
Employees
I ask
only-
an off subject a question?
Please.
Only because I haven't been on for a couple of weeks, but we have been having a hell of a time recently for hinges or glass slipping out of hinges. We've been using FHC and CRL, the wall mounted hinges. And Brian, I don't know if I was reading a post from you online, but are you guys going to these clear gaskets? Are they making any difference? I'm frustrated right now. We're trying to do everything right. I'm
World of
looking for some
difference.
gems of wisdom.
World of difference. The clear gaskets make a world of difference.
Do they?
Yeah,
Where are you getting them
absolutely.
from?
We use primarily Portals hardware. So Portals hardware comes with the clear gaskets, whereas FHC you can order the clear gaskets as a separate product. But the Portals hinges come with the clear gaskets.
But
And
FHC,
FHC,
has-
they have them for the Preston hinges and the what's their larger
Carolina.
Carolina.
the Carolinas and the whatever the
I'm wondering if you can buy them in bulk. I'll have to
that
ask
I
you.
don't know. That I don't know. I do have a few packages in stock for when we do use FHC's hardware. I always change hardware to a clear gasket.
Clear. And you've noticed a significant difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How much do they cost?
For a pack, I think it's $1. I want to say like $1.35 maybe.
Oh, that's
And
not
that'll do
bad.
one.
Not,
Yeah.
nothing,
As much as a
nothing.
return trip, Brian.
Yeah, nothing crazy. US Horizon sells like a fiber gasket as well. It's still a black gasket, but it has a better grip. And they don't have that internal fin.
They're flat.
Yeah, it's a flat gasket, which I like a little bit better.
US Horizon.
Yeah, Glaze
Yeah.
said that they're supposed to be getting some of those thick gaskets with like the texture on it or whatever. They're like the
Okay.
I haven't.
Glaze hardware is
Yeah, out of I think they're out of Florida.
Florida. Yeah. I heard their silicone's pretty good. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but
Yeah, they sent us we did a pretty big order on some hardware, like some hinges and handles. They had some pretty decent pricing. They're pretty limited as far as the selection. but they've got some, I mean, everything that we've used so far has been pretty good. The guy was pushing the silicone, because I think they just came out with it or whatever, but my guys seemed to like it, the one tube that we got, but we used the BioSeal on Amazon.
Okay. And
Which company's
what
that?
finishes do they offer? Just the basic chrome, brush nickel.
Yeah, they
Black.
have the satin brass, but like I said, it's very limited. I mean, just clips. They have offset. I think it's like Legacy is like their heavy duty version, I guess, like the Vienna style, and then they have the smaller like Geneva style ones. But and then I think they do have offset as well, some glass to glass, but that's not, like I said, it's not a huge selection.
Okay. Is there silicone in RTV silicone? Is it a neutral cure silicone? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I think, I don't remember.
Yeah, I just posted the other day. I had gone back to a job for a shower I did. When did we put it in? March 27th. And they were asking about putting a door stop so the door didn't swing all the way open. But when I got to the job, I noticed that all along the bottom of the panels, the silicone had started to yellow, particularly around the clips that were a polished nickel finish. So I posted to the group, and I still haven't really gotten any answer as to, what's causing it, or, what could I do to prevent it. So I'm still in research mode, doing recon work.
I saw that post. What kind of silicone do you use?
On that particular shower, I had used Dow 1199 against the polished nickel clip, and it had appeared to me when I was there that the shower had been cleaned on the exterior and the interior as well. You could kind of see like the streaks and the white marks, but it was significantly a yellower tint around the clip. That being said, there was also some discoloration just along the bottom of the panel. So I wasn't sure, if it was a chemical reaction due to a cleansing product, or if it was something to do with the silicone against the finish of the hardware.
Are you spraying glass cleaner on when you wipe it?
When I'm
Tooling, you mean?
Yeah, when you're
No.
tooling the silicone bead.
No, I tool with my tip as I caulk. I don't finger it afterwards. Yeah. So there's no added no added liquid.
Yeah, Brian, we've had that problem every now and then, and it dumbfounds me because it's not consistent. It's not all the time.
Yeah.
Just every once in a while we get some yellowing, and I always think it's because my guys might be tooling it using some spray, and I tell them, they use spray, don't use much. Just put a little on their finger or whatever.
A little bit, yeah. And I think Tim had posted a little while back something about silicone with overexposure to sunlight and UV turning it yellow. But I had discredited that as a potential cause because the shower was so new. It really hadn't really been exposed for that long.
Same here.
But Brian, the way it looked like to me is somebody had wiped it because it was such a clean line. It wasn't like something, migrated up from the silicone that you had put down. It was just a very clean, sharp line.
Yeah. So I don't know, but if it's a matter of me going back and cutting out what's there and reapplying it, I'm okay to do that. But I would like to be able to provide them with information going forward that, it's probably due to, a cleaning product that somebody used, don't use XYZ on this. But I don't know what X, Y, and Z are.
I've heard Bill Dobman talk about this.
Chemical reactions and such.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was
he's trying to get in right now. I don't know why. I see him.
Let him in.
He's having trouble getting in. I'm trying to help.
Well, I've talked to guys who are the chemical engineers at some of these silicone manufacturers. And one guy just said, cleaners, the surfactants in a cleaner can cause that to happen. So, maybe if a homeowner is trying to clean the glass after, you've done your thing and the silicone may have been cured and everything for a couple of days, and they come in with a Windex or something that has surfactants in it, then maybe that's what the deal is.
I was going to ask, Brian, is that new construction?
That was new construction. Yeah, the homeowners.
So they had a cleaning crew come in after you.
They had a cleaning crew come in. The homeowners, I believe, are due to move in to the residence this weekend. But no one is currently living there. So I don't think the shower was used, as a shower, but it appeared that it had been cleaned, and the rooms had kind of been cleaned up to get ready for the people to move in.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, is I wonder what kind of cleaner the cleaning company used.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, it was shower guard glass. And I provide all my customers at the end of the job, I provide them with a printout from Guardian for, recommended cleaning products, what to use and what not to use. But I didn't, I don't think they cleaned it. It appears that maybe a cleaning crew had come in, and I didn't they don't have the printout.
Right.
So now I've always used RTV, clear RTV silicone. That's what I always use. And
on all three showers that you've done silicone on?
All three of them that I actually caulked. And stuff's expensive,
Still got the same too.
Yeah, the stuff's expensive, but if you use it like I do, then it's like it doesn't really cost much at all, Might as well go the extra mile. But anytime I've ever had to, unless I've gone back after many years, it will finally, anything will start to yellow after like you wait long enough. But I've really never had any problems with it discoloring the hardware or turning yellow or even mildew. It's pretty mildew resistant. So it's not real easy to caulk with at first, because it skins over so quick. And it's just different. It's got a different texture to it. But if you get used to using it, I found it's really great. It's got a great modulus to it, great adhesion. It sticks to just about everything. I mean, it'll stick to plastic. It's awesome. So
you're talking about acetic cure then. The RTV acetic cure.
Right. Room temperature vulcanization. Yeah, not acidic.
Oh, okay. So you're talking
neutral cure.
Neutral cure. Yes.
Okay. Because we use both. I use neutral cure anytime it's a stone product. If it's a dark tile and it's man-made, we definitely use the acetic cure because it's more clear. At least that's of all the ones I've tried, those are the most clear. And I have good luck with both, actually. The guys have found they love the neutral cure, though, because it doesn't skin up very fast and it tends to give you more time. At least
it's just cloudier, though.
Yeah, it's a little bit cloudier, the RTV.
Yeah. The other now somebody was asking about silicones. I think that, well, Brian, I don't know if that was you, but I've been using one that's JIT, and one of our suppliers had it and then they discontinued it. And I called the company up directly and they said, well, I can't sell to you directly, but I think they had a hard time finding somebody in my area. So I've been buying direct, and I buy quite a bit at one time. And their prices are pretty good if you can buy direct. I mean, and I'm buying both the neutral cure and the acetic cure.
And that's JIT.
That's correct. Yep. You just Google that. They've got good silicone.
Do you know roughly like what the price is like per tube?
I think it was if I remember right, and I'm just going from memory, the neutral cure was about low $7 range, and maybe the mid, maybe 760 or something for the neutral, something like that.
Okay,
I thought that was a pretty good price, although they didn't cover the shipping.
gotcha. Yeah, that I was just looking up that BioSeal stuff that I get. I mean, it's does pretty good even against mold and stuff. It is RTV. And if I buy, the biggest case quantity they sell is a case of 50, and it comes out roughly about $5.50, give or take.
Pretty good. Now, is
That's
that the
pretty good.
one that you're talking about from Glaze?
No, so the one from Glaze, I think for a case it came out right at just under $6. So it was pretty close. But
Not bad.
what I was talking about is the brand name is BioSeal. They have a couple different types. There's a blue bottle, which is more like the general stuff, and then the green bottle is the one we use, which is kitchen and bath, and it's no mold. It's supposed to be. It has a little bit of odor, but it's not nearly as overpowering as the other stuff. Because we were using GE for a while too. But it got pretty pricey. It was like almost $9 a tube.
And where are you getting it?
So I was getting it on Amazon, and then if you just look them up, there's like 4 different places you can get it from on the website. And I've kind of gone through and priced it out a couple different ways. There's one guy that will sell it. It's like $4.50 a tube, but then he charges shipping on top of that. So depending on sometimes, your shipping costs, it might be cheaper just to get it on Amazon. But you just got to kind of price it out both ways.
Pretty cheap. I do like the nozzles that come with the JIT. It's the removable, and they actually have another nozzle that clips on the top of that.
Yeah.
It has pretty strong mildicides in there because it actually will discolor sometimes in the tube, but when it cures clear. And they said that's the mildicides, and we haven't had any complaints on the product.
They come with
backs and that sort of thing.
So, the tip, but it doesn't have the extra like the top cap.
The little cap on top. See, I would need that because I need my silicone to last a long time.
Yeah.
Once a year, whether they need it or
Yeah,
not.
That's right.
Skips over.
Dust it off, dust off the old tube, haul it out.
Can we circle back around to Brian? I think it was Brian. No, it was Michael. You were asking about door slippage.
Yeah.
For the longest time, we had so many problems with that. We really did. We do better with the flat black gaskets than the fitted ones that like Sierra Lawrence has. And FHC on a lot of their hinges were the flat black ones, but I think they have both. And it just depends on where they're buying their hinges at the time, I guess. I don't know.
Now, Brad, do you guys block the doors too? Do they shim? Do they do the blocking in the hinge
we
cutout?
do everything now, and we're not having very many problems at all. But one of the biggest culprits we found were some of the stock doors we were getting. The hinge notches were just a little too forgiving, and we weren't getting as much surface contact with the gaskets as we should. We ended up making sure that all of the stock doors or any custom doors we get have tighter hinge notches. We have a little less adjustability, but we really haven't had a problem with that, to be honest with you. And we do block them, but I also have harped over and over and over about tightening them consistently multiple times. And just, you start with one screw, go to the next screw, and you go back and forth, then you go to the next hinge, do the same thing, and just keep doing that. And, that has made a tremendous impact. We haven't had hardly any door adjustments for quite a few months. It's been really good. And years ago, I practiced. I mean, one of the things I tried were the clear gaskets. I thought that was going to be the greatest thing, but I had a lot of problems with those. Now, I think it depends on whose clear gaskets they are, because one of my customers explained to me he was in that kind of material business. You know, he was explaining to me that your silicone gaskets are actually fluid. So as you compress them, the pressure over a short period of time starts to make that material spread out and it thins out. So now I know that with portals, that doesn't seem to be a real issue, although I don't really use portal hinges, and theirs are glued into the plate. And some of them, their higher end ones, have a recess in the plate where the gasket goes into as well. So yeah, I mean, if you don't mind spending extra money on those are great hinges. I mean, I like them. So
Yeah, it seems like they pay for themselves pretty quickly. I mean, one go back buy you a lot of those gaskets.
right. But I'm not really having a problem with the FHC gaskets or some of the cheap brand hinges that have the cheap gaskets. Not having too many problems with that. So.
Now, when we set our hinges too, we tend to set them up, all you know, high up in the notch cutout if there's allowance for it. I don't know, Mike. I don't know if you guys are setting them kind of centered in the notch cutout, but if you set them high, that tends to help a little bit too with the slipping.
Put like a spacer block in there and then set them high against.
Set them high. Yeah.
You know, it's just recent. Well, we went for a long time with very few issues, and it's recently I've been buying more FHC stuff. It seems like we've had a couple that have just been, you know, a real pain in the rear end. You know, multiple go backs, and we've tried all those things. We've discussed all those things, but I appreciate all this input and these gems of wisdoms. We'll have that discussion again tomorrow.
Yeah, same here. Definitely with the blocking, because we never really thought about doing that. And because for a while, I mean, we use DFI, and that stuff is super slick. I mean, I think that's the biggest culprit.
Yeah, that's true.
Back. So what we were doing is just taping off and then actually etching with those little Dremels, and actually etch the hinge pockets to keep it from slipping. That seemed to work pretty good. It's a little more,
I've heard of guys doing that.
but yeah.
On the bottom hinge, you can also put a blocking on the vertical part of the hinge so that the glass isn't slipping over.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of stabilize it in place that way. So, I don't know. Whatever my guys are doing now, it seems to be working well. Those are the things we've talked about in detail.
I used to use a lot of wall hinges. I've been transferring my hinges to pivot. I believe the pivot hinge, you don't need to rely too much on the installer mood, right? Sometimes the guy, they're in a rush, they don't be properly blocking the hinges, and they probably got to come back in the near future, right? So I believe the the pivot hinges has this advantage. So they're working pretty well for me so far.
And we're using more pivot hinges now than we used to. You know, I kind of like them. We don't use them all the time, obviously, but we do use more, especially if we know it's a heavy door. And if I can use a pivot hinge, that's what I do.
Yeah, I believe it is slightly more expensive, but I believe it pays off just to avoid the future headache.
Yes.
Yeah, you get what you pay for, right?
We had the same problem too for years. Like I was going back a ridiculous amount of time on slipping doors, and it was generally when I let somebody else decide when they decided my hinge cut out. And then I, like you were saying, I got to measuring them, and they had a 1/4 inch gap all the way around the cutout, around the hinge. And you just lose so much clamping area. And then if you're doing the mouse cutouts, you're losing that extra clamping area in there. I know some guys like those things because they can block and shim on them. But, you know, my thoughts on that was, you know, when a manufacturer makes a hinge and they give you their specifications on it, right, it should stand on its own 2 feet without blocking that, in my opinion. But we went to a little bit more of a custom shop where I send in my notch cutouts now, and we have 1/8 of an inch all the way around the hinge itself. And just like somebody said about the flat gaskets, we order a lot of extra flat gaskets from US Horizons. I think they're like 65 cents a piece. And I keep a lot of those in stock. But and then when I set my door about a 16th heavy high from the panel, so that, you know, when I pull the shims out, the door kind of settles right where it needs to be. And if I have to adjust more than the 16th either way, I think I might have done something wrong. But it has been years since we've gone back on a slipping door.
Good point. So you're just getting more friction per square inch, basically. You know, I mean, I can see how that would make a huge difference. Smart.
It was bad. We were etching the surface like that guy was talking about too, to just to get it to grip. But yeah, it was a battle for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, the surface area is important, and it seemed like the gaskets that smelled like inner tubes performed better for me. I don't know. You know,
Sniff your gaskets if you got the right one.
Sniff test, you know.
The sniff test.
Don't sniff them too much, though. Not at work.
Not until after the door.
Not until afterward, right?
I got a question.
Well, one quick point. I would leave make sure you're leaving a little gap between the door and the panel for the house movement. I mean, obviously we've talked about these things before, but you have expansion and contraction. And so it's when you have some extreme heat or extreme cold weather that you get the calls.
Yeah.
And that's usually because the house moved.
Yeah.
Question for y'all. Has anybody put a window in, say, like a pond or an aquarium or something for anybody?
No.
We did it once at a company I worked for. He had an outdoor pond that he wanted a viewing window in the front of it for like a koi pond.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So we do crazy things sometimes, and not quite as unique as Sean's stuff, but every once in a while we'll do something. And I did a koi pond. I used 3/4 inch tempered, but the customer's filling it up tonight and was concerned if it was going to hold. And I don't know.
As far as strength goes, it'll hold. I mean, the glass isn't going to break.
I wouldn't think so.
No
right?
way. No.
3/4 inch is pretty stout.
Unless somebody hits the edge.
Yeah. But I don't know. You know, the caulking, you know, is what you have to worry about, I suppose.
We use, I forget what it was. It was a Dow construction type thing. He got it was kind of like a urethane, like a windshield glue.
Oh, yeah.
But I told him, I said, I'm 1,000% confident it'll hold. But he's like, you pay for my fish if it doesn't. And,
did the silicone say did the silicone?
Well, you'll have to let us
use it below the water line.
Say, what was that?
Did the silicone say you could use it below the water line?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because
I'll get the number on the Dow.
My son-in-law is in the pool business, and when they caulk, use silicone, it has to be for below the water line.
So he's a pool manufacturer. So he builds swimming pools. He was the one that got all that for me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's on him.
Yeah.
I wanted to use like Sika or Essex or something like that, but they insisted on that. So I went with that.
Isn't some of that toxic kind of to fish that you have to use a
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
type.
That's another thing you have to consider
Yeah.
because you have to get the kind that's safe for aquariums.
Yeah.
But the pool guy would know that too. He's an expert.
Yeah, but the
Cool.
pool guy is not a fishing.
Pool guy. Pool guys know all kinds of stuff though. Trust me. They know stuff.
Yeah.
They get around.
They used to make an aquarium silicone at one time.
Yep. That's right.
Isn't it just NutriCure?
I don't know.
Good question.
Hmm.
Google it.
We used to fix them all the time, just glued them in. They never died, I guess.
Yes,
Cool.
it does.
Yeah. Wait,
Liver-
Bill Bodman made it into the chat. Check it out. I was talking about you earlier. We were talking about like the discoloration of the hardware or the caulk or something. And I remember
Silicone.
talking about it was a silicone, right? And I remember Bill talking about what was it, Tilex or
Tilex, but that caused the problem on the finish on the hardware. That wasn't so much on the caulking. That was eating, the acidic was eating through the finishing on the hardware. I saw Brian's post. I didn't answer because we do very little polished nickel, but I know Tom Whitaker always told me that he used a special caulking for polished nickel. I just haven't called him.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does a lot of it. So
Okay.
Brian, if you have his contact, just call his office tomorrow in Connecticut. And if not, I'll send him a text on your behalf if you'd like.
Okay. All right. I'll reach out to him tomorrow. Thank
Yeah, just let me know if you don't get a hold of him and I'll send a text.
you. Okay.
Yeah, hey, I want to talk to that guy too.
Yeah, it's right. He owes you a call, doesn't he?
He does, that guy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna
All
track
right.
him down.
Then you know
Bill,
what?
didn't you say you knew of a product that made the silicone black?
Yeah. What was happening was a chemical reaction. It was a pine salt cleanser.
It was pine sol. That's right.
And we used to have to cut it away. People would call us and say it was mold, and it wasn't mold. And
Yeah.
it was a chemical reaction with the cleanser.
Wow.
No pine sol. Cool.
Yeah,
Stay around long. Stay around long
Let me
enough
tell
to see everything, right?
It's a pain in the neck, if you are using clamps, because then it's, it's all the way around. If you're in channel and you just cut it, the excess, that's all they're going to see. It's what's coming out of the bottom of the channel, and you trim that back and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But if you're using clamps, yeah, it's a major ordeal. But on Brian's, on yours, that it very well could be the caulking. Take a look if the discoloration starts at the bottom and works its way up. Usually if it's a chemical spray that they put on, it would start at the top of the clamp and work its way down as the gravity pulls it down. But if you're finding that the discoloration starts at the bottom of the clamp and is coming up, then it's coming from the caulking. You can probably see the shade of where it's getting from good to bad, right? So take a look at that.
I mean, the clamp itself didn't seem to be too discolored, just the caulking at the bottom. But I mean, I could certainly go back and do a little, deeper dive into it, inspection.
Yeah. And find out what the customer is using for cleansers too. They're going to say nothing. They always do. But
Right.
you go there, just kind of look around. Sometimes they leave it laying around, or you can see it under the vanity or something.
Look in their cabinets and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time somebody left lime away in their shower and was complaining about all the damage and their plumbing fixtures, the hinges, handle, everything was getting eaten up in 1 year time.
You know, it's a good thing to do, and we did this. Try the different cleansers. If you get a scratched piece of hardware that you're going to trash anyhow, hold on to them, disassemble them to get 4 or 5 pieces out of it, and get little containers and label the containers. Put Tilex in one and Lime Away in the other one, and all these different cleaning products, and just set the hardware in there and let it sit a couple of days. Take it out, see what it's done to it. You can even straight ammonia in one of them.
That'd be cool to have in your sample kit, you know?
Yeah.
right.
Just
But
pull
you
it
can
out and
take a
show
nice
them,
video.
okay, this is what LimeAway will do to your hardware.
You know, you can make a video and just keep it on your phone when you're at a customer's house and just show them.
That
Yeah.
too.
So you have the cups set up with the hardware in there and document it, just like a scientist would do. All right, day 1, day 2, day 3, and take it out.
Brilliant. We would need Keith to do that. Keith would probably end up, doing one with urine or something like that.
Yeah, the acid would be on his pants. Yeah, he would do it though. He would.
Yeah, I know
definitely.
he would. All right, great. Anything else we should cover before we go? Hey, thanks for coming, everybody. It's always a pleasure to see you. Have a
Good
great
night.
rest of your week. We'll see you next time.